Okay, I just ordered the ugliest truck on the planet. Here's the thing, it's ugly. I mean, like, I think it's really ugly, and I know there's people that are gonna like it. And I was so excited for this truck. I mean, I even posted a video on Facebook. We were counting down for over a week. It's been like better than Christmas waiting for this truck to come out. And it was a party and ice cream and ready for the show. And then it drove out and we're all looking around the room like, wait, is this a joke? What's happening? What is this? Where's the real truck? Because there was some trucks that were so pretty. I mean, concepts of what people thought Tesla would be that were so out there, so edgy, so cool, so radical, so concept vehicle awesome that I'd have sold my house and lived in a cardboard box just to have something that cool. And that's not what we saw. What we saw was a big triangle. A sketch from a second grader roll out onto the stage in a bland looking, no paint job color. And I died. I thought, this is insane. Now, not everyone likes it, but my son Paxton did. He loves it. He thinks it's the coolest truck in the world. He couldn't wait to get his order in even before the specs were up because it was awesome. And Elon Musk, he knew that. Not that there would be people that like it. Obviously, he believed people would like it. He never built it. But he knew there was going to be people like me that hated it. My twin brother Mike hated it. He thought it was ugly. He ordered a Tesla truck because the specs, he's like, the specs are so good, they're so amazing that I will live with the ugly. So we got it. I think the specs are great, but I've been more conservative and it's hard for me to buy something like a big fancy truck. And I thought this would be something really cool to do. And so the specs didn't matter because I usually buy the smaller engine, better gas mileage thing. So that didn't turn me on, though I am excited. The looks didn't turn me on, but I'll tell you why I ordered the truck. It's because I want to reward the guy that had the guts to do it. I'm so sick and tired of seeing all these concept vehicles. Every year I go to Detroit Auto Show, I go to everything that's out there and you see these big unveilings, and you go to the SEMA show. I was just there a few weeks ago and you see all these amazing concept vehicles, and we all know they will never build it because they're too conservative. The big auto manufacturers will never make a risk. They come out with a new Honda and a new Toyota and a new whatever Hyundai, and without the badge emblem on them, you wouldn't know which was which. They all look the same. They're just vanilla with different colors. And I am so happy that Tesla had the guts to build something new, even if it's ugly. Here's the thing, the whole thing reminds me of the Tucker. Now maybe this is a bad example because the 48 Tucker failed. If you don't know the car, it was radical in its design. It had a third headlight in the middle. 17 states made it illegal before the truck was even rolling off the assembly line because cars should have two headlights. And we as the government should make it illegal to have more than two headlights. So Tucker even had to tell people the center headlight, you can put a cover on it so it'll be legal in the states that have made it illegal. It makes me angry that people have to be in such a small box that even government regulators tell us what we can and can't do. They want to stop us from innovating. The Tucker, in fact, if you look at the story of it, there was a lot of speculation, even to this day, and some pretty good evidence and stories of how the big three auto manufacturers worked to shut down the Tucker because they were threatened by it. It was so different and innovative. The center third headlight turned left and right as you turn the steering wheel, so it project around the corner to make it safer. It did, the frame underneath the car went around the outside of the car to protect against crash. These were things the big manufacturers weren't going to do because it increased cost, and they were threatened by it. There was even a law manufacturer, a lawmaker out of Michigan, Homer something, I forget his name, I'm sure you can find it on Wikipedia, but made it its mission to shut down the Tucker, and all kinds of stories were started and pushed forward, and that they were doing illegal things financially as a company, that they were defrauding investors and all this stuff, and people stopped investing and they got scared and they thought, Tucker's going to go to jail over this car, and they went bankrupt. And then, of course, history tells us he did nothing wrong. No one was defrauded. He was actually had the rug ripped out from underneath him by the big three manufacturers. And I'm still a little angry about that, because here's what we'll never see from Ford. We'll see concept trucks that we never get to drive. And same with Chevy. We'll see cool things that on paper we go, that's awesome, but they'll never take a risk because they're afraid of what happened to Tesla tonight. Is they play it safe. We live in a world that everyone plays it so safe that NASA is almost more of a museum than it is NASA. NASA is synonymous with going to outer space, but everyone's going to outer space these days, but NASA, it seems like. Of course, they're still doing stuff. NASA lovers, don't hate me. I love NASA, but we've gone from going to the moon to doing very little. And Tesla said, let's go do something. Let's do something big. Let's do something bold. And I love it. The reason I bought a Tesla is not because it's pretty, it's ugly. It's not because of the specs. I'm a little more conservative. It's because I want to reward the guy that had the guts to do something different. I want to reward the guy that said, I'm going to do something crazy and out there and people are going to hate it. And he knew people would hate it, even tweeted, a lot of people won't like this car. And he did it anyway. Yay. I mean, seriously, bravo. That's what made America great. Take a risk. And I have to bring up the breaking the glass. I mean, it was so cringeworthy to take a ball and show how strong the glass is and throw it at the window and it breaks. And he had the guts to try again. He made a huge failure and doubled down and tried it on the next window and it broke too. And somehow I loved that. I cringed like everybody, but I loved it because I've built small businesses and I've had huge failures, and some public, some not so public. But that's what it takes, is the willingness to be out there. And then the whole speech was awkward and clumsy, and I actually liked that too. You know, you're like, why didn't they get a spokesman that could be polished and perfect? It's like, because spokesmen that are polished and perfect are our politicians, and everything about them these days seems to be fake, no matter who they are. And the big auto manufacturers, their spokesmen, they're perfect. They're polished, they're ironed, and they will never do something new. They will never do something cool. I hope they prove me wrong. Everybody at Tesla, bravo. I bought your truck, and I think it's just ugly as sin. And I just want to reward the guys that have the guts to try something new. And my kids can't afford trucks like this, but my youngest says, I'm buying one, I'm going to put a deposit on it. I said, why? He says, because I got 2 years to find a way to work smarter, work harder, and try to make the money. It's a goal. I'm like, that's a good reason. Mike bought it because of the specs on it. My son Paxton bought it because he actually thinks it's the coolest truck he's ever seen in his life, and it's beautiful. I bought it because they had the guts to build it. Ford and Chevy, you should be afraid.